Hi everyone, this is Ron Karashkado with Neowin, and today we are taking a look at the Dynabook Tecra X50-F. So, for those of you who aren't aware, Dynabook is the new name of the Toshiba's division for PCs and such. And so the thing is, Toshiba is a big group. They had a bunch of different companies. They had the Toshiba Memory, they had the PC and client division. I'm not sure exactly what the full name is, but the PC division rebranded last year to Dynabook all around the world. So it's Dynabook everywhere now. And this is one of their more recent laptops. It's not the latest one because they announced new ones at CES that aren't available yet. But this is the one they launched back in September. And it's being that it's a few months on, and Intel in the meantime has started shipping laptops have started shipping with Intel Comet Lake now. So the fact that this still comes with Whiskey Lake can be a bit of a downside there. It does come with vPro models of the Intel processors though, so Comet Lake doesn't really have vPro models out yet in any laptops you can buy right now. So it's still current hardware, but it's getting outdated. So nonetheless, I'm fairly excited to take a look at it. This is a 15-inch laptop that you can get that from the name, the 50 X50. That means that the 50 means that it's a 15-inch laptop. If it was X40, that would mean it's a 14-inch laptop, and if it was X30, that would be a 13-inch laptop. So this is a 15-inch laptop. Full HD. Like I said, it's got a Whiskey Lake processors, goes up to 32 gigabytes of RAM. This model specifically comes with 16 on a single stick, though they do sell a model with 16 gigs on two 8 gigabyte sticks, so that could be advantageous if you want to have dual channel memory. But regardless, you see the spec sheet comes inside here. Core i7 8665U, 15.6 Full HD Touch, 16 gigabytes of RAM, no dedicated graphics. It's got Intel UHD Graphics 620, a 512 gig NVMe PCIe SSD. So that's pretty fast. I think it's by Samsung too, so it's that's usually good. And this is just a bunch of pamphlet things within here, talking about their brand, just so you don't forget that this is Toshiba. Apparently they made the world's first laptop, so that's pretty cool. It also comes with a pretty big cleaning cloth, which is nice. I do like keeping my laptops clean. And so we're gonna just take a look at what's in here. This is the power adapter, the power brick, I should say. Smaller than I thought it would be. I actually thought it would be a lot bigger. It's kind of a theme for this unboxing, is that everything that they include in here I thought would be bigger and clunkier than it actually is, because the thing is, the renders that Toshiba gives you for their devices really make them look old, like old school devices. So I was really surprised that the power brick is fairly compact. It's actually smaller than my current one, and it's also a USB Type-C power adapter, so that's also very nice, and that's the first time I see a USB power adapter on a laptop. Personally, I know they exist, but I've never actually had one in my hands. That's the power cable. It's American power cable. The two prongs are American because they ship this from the United States, and I am in Europe, so I'm gonna need the travel adapter for that. But anyways, we're gonna just take this off and take a look at the actual laptop in here. It comes in this little package. It makes it easy to pull out. And just take those things off from the sides. Put that back in. And just take that out. Just pull it out. And there we go. So that's the laptop. It's the Dynabook logo is engraved here pretty deep. Like they're very noticeable grooves there, and the plating is very reflective on the logo, so it really stands out from the rest of the body of the laptop. And so first impression I got when I picked this up is how light it is. So I have my laptop is 15 inches, but it's aluminum, and this is magnesium. This is the Onyx Blue color. They actually don't make any others, so the name is kind of irrelevant. They just call it Onyx Blue. And it looks, for one thing, it's lighter. It's lighter than I was expecting. It's thinner than I was expecting. It's pretty darn thin, in my opinion anyways. And it's prettier than I was expecting. Because the thing about these laptops from Dynabook is that the renders they give you, for almost all of them, I look at them and they seem so old school. Like, they seem thick, they seem ugly and kind of bland. And I guess bland is still true for this. If you're used to the iron laptops from companies like HP and the like, but I genuinely was surprised at how nice it looks. The silver accents on the hinge here, on the logo, and if I open it up, whoops, actually I have that turned on already. There you go. If I open that up here, you see that there. It looks a lot nicer than I thought it would. And it's still very classic looking. This is a business laptop after all, so it's not gonna have those super fancy designs. It's meant to be somewhat subdued, but it looks really nice. It's clean, and the accents really just give it that little bit of touch of flair that I think makes it look really nice. So I was very pleasantly surprised with the design of this. So looking around, actually we can start with the screen there. That's a full HD screen. This one has touch support. My model supports touch input, which is interesting because it is still a matte finish screen. This is not a glossy finish on the screen there. So I don't really see that in almost any consumer devices as far as I can remember. Matte touchscreens are very rare, and it feels really nice to like touch the screen like that. It's just really smooth to slide my finger across the screen there, so I really appreciate that. I ended up liking it more than I expected to. I can't really speak for the sharpness of it, because my usual laptop is also 1080p. I know this looks good, it looks the same as my usual laptop in terms of sharpness, so I really have no complaints there. I only got a 1080p laptop last year, so this still looks pretty good to me. And in terms of colors, Dynabook doesn't, as far as I could tell, doesn't really provide you values for the color accuracy, like the sRGB color gamut coverage and anything like that. But putting it side by side with my current laptop, this one seems a little colder, and I think that's a good thing, because I never really noticed looking at mine, but having it side by side, the blacks on my laptop look very reddish, and this looks a little more natural to me, at least. The panel, by the way, this is a panel by Sharp. It's an IGZO display, and Dynabook really highlights that in their press release for this, because they say it's a very power efficient display, and they can get 17 hours of battery life out of this, which seems pretty ambitious for an Intel powered laptop. Of course, those claims are always a little bit exaggerated, so I'm gonna have to take a look at just how well that works. Moving on to the keyboard, we have a backlit keyboard there. The lighting turns on automatically. Actually, you can have it on all the time, or turn it off, or you can just have it on a timer, so it's on by default. When you start typing on it, it turns on, and then it just turns off if you haven't touched it in a while. So it just saves you some battery there. That's pretty cool. My laptop has a backlight, but it's always on or off, so that's a nice little touch that it turns off after a while. I think it's a good way to save battery there. I haven't really had the chance to type on it, but it seems to have a pretty good travel distance from my short testing. And then here we have the trackpad. It has a built-in fingerprint reader there that's been pretty accurate in my testing so far. And there's something else that's cool, but before we get to that, there's the little nub here that I know some business users apparently like. I've never been a fan of these things, But if you do like that, having the nub to use as a mouse, you can, and it has the buttons up here to replace the built-in buttons that actually are part of the trackpad there. And what I was saying about the fingerprint reader is that it also supports waking up the laptop. So if you, I'm gonna cover the Windows Hello camera there, and I'm gonna just put it to sleep. And once it gets that done, which can take a little bit. So now it's asleep, and you can actually wake the laptop by just tapping on the fingerprint reader. And as soon as you tap the fingerprint reader, it wakes up the laptop. And if, assuming it recognizes you, which it did there, it just wakes up right away and logs you in. So it's really fast. I mean, I know some laptops have the fingerprint reader built into the power button and they can log you in right away. But this, to me, is still new, so I actually quite like that. It does also have Windows Hello facial recognition, so if I were to lock the computer, it can just recognize me right away, and now I can just press enter and logs me in. And it comes with both. The fingerprint reader, I think, is always included. The IR camera is optional. The webcam also does have a physical shutter there, but only for the normal camera, so the IR camera is always exposed. Not that I'm too worried about it. I actually personally never covered the camera on my devices, but if you're worried about that, at least the regular camera can be covered. Let's talk about the design a little bit. I think we covered everything that you could see here. So I'm just gonna close that up. Aside from being thin, this thing still has plenty of ports. So that's a full HDMI, 2 USB Type-Cs that support Thunderbolt 3. So charging, display outputs, a lot of data throughput there. That's a micro SD card reader. And that, right here on the edge, that's a smart card reader. So in some places, including here in Portugal, ID cards can be read by these little thingies. And it's useful for getting into government websites and stuff like social security and whatever. So it's nice to have it built in. So I'm actually not complaining about that. It's not all that often that I see laptops with that. So that's fine. And then here you have 2 USB Type-A's. One of them supports USB sleep and charge. So even if the computer is not actively running, if it's in sleep mode, you can charge a phone from this port. And that's the combo audio jack. And I think this is a Kensington Hawk port. It looks like one, but that's not usually the logo I see next to the Kensington ports. So I can't say for 100% sure that that's it, but it really doesn't look like one. On the bottom, you see the air intakes here, which are not terribly big. Then the air gets expelled out from the back, and the speakers on this are so tiny. Look at that. And in addition to being bottom firing, which sucks because as you saw here when I had the laptop open, and I'll do that again, there's a lot of space on the laptop here. It doesn't seem like it's really lacking space for speakers, so I really do wish that they had put them on the top. Nonetheless, those are Harman Kardon speakers, so those tend to be pretty good. I haven't really had a chance to listen to a lot of stuff there, but it looks good. And really, my general impressions for this so far are very positive. The display looks nice, the keyboard seems comfortable enough. It's an American US layout, so that's a little problematic for me because some of the keys are not where I expect them to be at all. And I actually didn't even know. So when I set up the laptop the first time, actually it shows the Portuguese keyboard, and it applies that layout in the software, despite the hardware being different. So that was very confusing for a while. But setting that aside, everything here looks pretty nice. The only issue I've had so far is that when I first turned this on and I was setting it up, the fan on this gets incredibly loud. They said that the Dynabook says that they redesigned the cooling system on this, so it's quieter than the previous generation, and it allows for more airflow. I mean, I haven't seen it overheat because I really haven't had the chance to make it overheat anyways, but it gets crazy loud. It's really, really loud. Right now it's also very quiet. So it's like when it's still. But if you push it a little harder, the fan really ramps up very quickly and gets very loud. But aside from that, I really like almost everything about this laptop. And I'm gonna be reviewing it for the next couple of weeks. This is actually the first laptop I'm reviewing, so just a quick note. If there's anything that you'd like me to talk about more specifically, just let me know. There's a lot of things that I don't usually test myself. So in the comments, just tell me what you'd like to see about this. And I'll make sure to give it a try. So thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. And I'll see you guys next time.